Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Comic Books NYC. You're watching Original Art Hour, the program where we sit down with other original comic art collectors, share some art, tell some stories, and talk about the art collecting side of the comic book hobby. Joining me tonight for the latest episode is my friend Knights of Old from Seattle. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you.
Cheers.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Still, it's weird how working from home can often feel like busier than when you're at work.
I am totally on the same wavelength. I'm busier than I've ever been before, and I just sit here all day alone at my computer, or potentially with a Zoom meeting or whatever the hell that is happening. But yeah, dude, I totally feel you, man. So before we get into the intro and sort of kick off the show, let's say a quick hello to who we have here in the chat. We had a couple people hanging out early. Geeks, Drinks, and Comics was in here. Z Collects. Fuchsia, what's up, Fuchsia? Brian, Take the Time Collectibles. Gorilla Todd. Thank you guys for hanging out. Tricky Trapster is in the house. What's up, Tricky Trapster? Who else is in here? Graphic Man. Nice, Graphic Man. I don't think I recognize Graphic Man, but welcome. Magic Lasso is always here. He loves the OA hour. It's his jam. Gorilla Todd says, ready when you are. Yeah, no, sorry, we were a couple minutes late. Just, thanks for bearing with us. All right, let's see. Who else is in here? Bake the Snake is in here. What's up, Bake? Good to see you, brother. And I think I have a good recap of who's in here for now. JB Discovery Bay is also in here, and House Till the End is in here. What's up, House? And Knights of Old is in here. Thanks for being in here. All right, so just a little quick backstory from me, I guess. And JP's in here also at the 11th hour. What's up, JP? Quick little backstory is I think Knights of Old and I got connected through Golden Guys. I was on that program. He's one of the Golden Guys over at Comic Core. And TJ says we were just on time. So thank you, TJ. And what's up, Mike the Collector is here as well. All the previous guests are in the chat. I love that. Not all, but a lot of them. Kay Titus is in here all the way from Japan. So that's pretty cool.
Nice. I got some Japanese artwork.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, definitely going to be seeing some of that. So, like I said, I went on the show Golden Guys once on the Comic Core, and I think that's the first time I ever got to do something with Knights of Old. But just as recently as last week, we did something on Alex's channel together, White Whale Comics, where we went over Amazing Fantasy 15, and Michael shared his raw copy with us, page by page, which was an incredible experience. Bubs, what's up, Bubs? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for being here in the chat. Welcome. So we've done a couple things together, but we've talked a lot of Golden Age. I think Knights of Old is probably well known for his Golden Age timely Marvel collection, and he's got a fantastic Silver Age and Bronze Age collection also. Like if you've been watching some of these videos that he's been putting out about the top covers every 5 years, you got some heat in other eras as well, my friend. So, but enough for me. Why don't you introduce yourself to these art fans and give a little backstory?
Sure. Well, yeah. Lately, I'd say in the collecting, the stuff I've been really collecting lately has just been Golden Age for the past maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
And
that's a long time.
Every now and then there'll be some original art, but the market. I kind of watched. I was in it a little bit, maybe early 2000s is when I got my first piece, and we'll talk about that later. But
can't wait to see your killer modern variant collection. That's why he's here.
But I saw the prices go crazy, and people think comics have gone up in price, but I feel original art went even more
from a percentage standpoint. Yeah, it's even more.
and I used to go to a lot of conventions growing up because I lived in San Diego. Uh, and I remember seeing art like super cheap. So sometimes when you see something really cheap, it's hard to buy in at these like crazy prices, even
Yeah.
when that what you thought was a crazy price is now a cheap price. But
Yeah,
like
I just got into it like, the tail end of, or like the beginning of 2018. So I haven't been in it
oh,
that
okay.
long as far as published stuff. Like I have some like sketches and sketch covers that predate that, but I didn't get my first published page until 2018. So I'm still relatively new to it, and I don't have that kind of like, oh, I remember back in the day when I used to go to cons when I was 6 years old and I saw, John Byrne splash pages for, $50. I never got that, you know what I mean? So I'm coming at it from a totally the other kind of viewpoint, which is just interesting. But I love hearing stories from guys like you that got into it way earlier than I did. It sounds almost like, mystical, like, like it's some dream scenario.
Well, it is kind of more. I find
Justice.
artwork kind of magical in the sense it can command these prices based on nostalgia that
Yeah.
you don't see in comic books at all. Because I mean, there's not really one of a kind. Golden Age books are pretty unique because they're, each one has its own like weathering, as it's been throughout the ages.
Because the condition can vary so much more greatly than modern era
but
books.
you don't see someone like no one's like going, that was my first comic ever, and it means more than any other object in the world to me, and and five other people are thinking the same exact thing, and there's only one piece that's original art, and like you're competing with comics. You can choose, like, you're like, I'm a low grade collector, maybe a little mid grade. I'm not rich, so I don't even think about the super high grade. But like the artwork, it's anyone all the way up at the top. And those are the ones, if they're nostalgic.
Yeah, you're bidding against whoever else has a similar passion for that one singular piece in the world, and you're hungry for it, but there's somebody going to be most likely more hungry for it if it's got action. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the name of the game now.
And they're super rich, like that Seinfeld something is a well-known guy. There's all kinds of kind of celebrity art collectors
for sure.
You can't.
Celebrity. I would say celebrity is like a stretch, but like, among the art collecting community, they're well-known collectors that have a lot of pieces that a lot of people want. You know what I mean?
Well, you got like Danzig. He's an art collector. You've heard of him, right?
That's right. What's up, Z? Welcome back.
The Metallica guitarist. I think he sold off a lot of his stuff, but he was a collector. And then, there's people who you just won't ever know because they keep it private. But
yeah.
Well,
when did you buy your first piece? Is that what you want to start with, or did you want?
To
go? All right. I'm gonna put the screen on you, and you can start showing it, telling your stories.
Sure. Well, I remember. I think it was early 2000s. I had was finally like making some money, with my job and whatnot, and I started going to cons again because I went to them as a kid, and then I stopped going when I was like in college and high school and all that stuff. And so when I went back with some cash, I actually looked at Golden Age stuff. But back then, if CGC had started, I don't know the exact year of CGC starting, but
2000, I think.
Okay, so it must have just started, but it wasn't like prominent. Because I remember looking at Golden Age books.
Right, because they only had like a few thousand on the census by the end of the first year or something like that. Like total books, like not of like one book, of like across all books,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I remember seeing these covers and looking at them and having some cash to blow on it. But the more I looked into it and the more I talked to these guys, and they were like, you know, and I actually had the books in my hand and was like feeling like, oh, Jesus, this is like pretty, you know, fragile stuff. Right. You know what I mean? And it's still thousands of dollars. I was just, and then they were talking to me about why theirs is so good. And it was like restoration and this and that. And you don't want to do that and that. And, you know, there's just so many like details and stuff that I was like, holy crap, like this sounds very easily like you could really get screwed over, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Not knowing what you're buying. And at that kind of price tag, I really didn't want to, you know, put that money into there. So I went to, I saw some artwork instead and then bought some of that. And,
so you pivoted to art because you at the time you didn't want to go in the deep end on Golden Age.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was a comic fan this whole time, and I had a lot of Silver Age keys at this point still. So I was like, I kept like, you know, a small, maybe 4 short boxes. Just I've always had them since I was a kid. And I got a lot of the Silver Age keys actually from Magic the Gathering, which I bought a lot of them when it first came out. And then the prices went insane. And the comic shops who like previously were like, what? We're not buying Magic. We don't do cards, you know?
Yeah.
F cards. Screw cards. They thought it was like a baseball card thing. And then like 2 years later, Magic was their main business. So I was coming there with like these old cards, and they would like, holy crap, and they would give me like insanely awesome deals on like wall books, you know, stuff like you know, the big silver Marvel keys,
right?
And like way cheaper price because they knew they could flip those Magic cards super quick, and that wall book's just been sitting there forever, you know. So I got a lot of those. I got lucky with the Magic, but But I was always curious about the Golden Age, you know. Even then, like I didn't see it too often when I'd go to lots of stores, and I always saw it at the cons, but I didn't really pay attention because it was so expensive. But so I ended up talking to Albert Moy. A lot of people know as a great
Jim Lee's rep and a art dealer.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of Cap. I've always been a Cap fan.
Yes.
Here's an example of So here's so he ended up having a bunch of pretty cheap, what I thought was Jay Lee artwork, and I thought it was pretty neat looking. It was interesting because I hadn't seen art at the time that didn't have the like a lettering on it, so I was intrigued a little. But he ended up having some pages I liked that had Namor and Cap, which even back then I was big fans of. And the more and more I looked, I was like, wow, like there's a bunch of these pages in like sequentially. I was like, I wonder if I could get a good deal if I buy, you know, a bunch of them. And I ended up, so I'll show those now. It's from a Captain America book. Let's see. It was like one of the new, I don't know, in the 2000s track, but it was like Ice or something. I don't know. But they kind of retold Cap's origin.
Okay. So it was like a new volume of Cap around that time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were destroying, like it wasn't like completely new canon. It was still in canon, but I think maybe some of this was like a dream. I don't really know, but it just looked cool, so I bought
it. No worries. It's art, man, so I'm sure it's cool.
So I'll start just with the first page, and it shows Namor, and he's like coming. It's I kind of wish I had the lettering because it's.
I go back and forth with that when it comes to the more modern pages because I do love the lettering still on there. You can look at the art and then also read the story in context, so you see the art in context versus the art out of context, which is what you get with these moderns. But the moderns without the text almost feel like more of a complete art piece because the words are in the way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like
that's
I
awesome.
want to maybe get a acetate. Maybe I can like make something and put a like overlay on
like
it.
Photo stats.
Yeah, just to see what it looked like.
People do that, man. There are collectors that do that.
So he's, I mean, it's hard to tell some of what the stuff even is, but this is a pretty neat, splash page-ish.
Yeah, it's like one of those hybrid splashes.
And Jay Lee's stuff was real cheap, like compared to like a lot of other stuff. I think he's just one of those guys. There's a lot of kind of veterans out there who just would rather just make a little extra money.
Yeah.
Not really worry about it,
Did he ink that too, or was there a separate inker on it? Do you know?
I believe this is all him.
It's all him. Cool.
Yeah, and sometimes he'll use some markers that some people don't like. They say it's not, it's susceptible to fading a little bit more so than some of the traditional inks. But he uses like a mix of the two. But anyway, so awesome. Namor is like coming up across something, and it's like Nazis, and he's like, yelling. It's like they invaded nature or whatever.
And that's the beginning of the
that's the beginning. It's kind of like the middle page is what I was drawn to, and then I kept expanding out until like he didn't have any other pages.
Right.
So here's the next page. It shows more of the setting, and this. I think this.
So I'm trying to read the lettering at the top. It said what? Captain America in issue number 12.
Issue 12, yeah. Captain America Ice, issue 12.
Lots of Jay Lee love in the chat. That's a great page.
Yeah, it's like more like a it's showing like he's in like some kind of ancient, I don't know if it's Atlantean or what, but it's above water, but it's like an island, and I think it's in the Arctic. And he's just mad at the Nazis coming there, and you could see Namor right down there.
Oh, cool.
And what does he see? He just looks up and he sees this dude in like ice. See that?
Wow.
And
yeah, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement on those pages.
Yeah.
Panels. I like that kind of paneling.
Yeah, Jay Lee, I feel, is one of those guys who has been around so long. Like, he knows what he needs to put into a page and what he doesn't. So, like, sometimes, other guys might give you a more complete piece of art.
Yeah.
Whereas Jay Lee seems to know, like, oh, well, the color is going to do this, and I don't need to fill this in, and blah, blah, blah. But then, so Namor doesn't seem to recognize Cap, which I always find fascinating, like what happened to his memory and all this. But it shows
that's a large Namor right there. Yeah.
Yeah, so he picks up the block of ice with Cap in it, and it's a great like close up of Namor's face. His line work is really awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, his Dark Tower stuff is cool. And then he picks up the block of ice, and then smashes it down, and you can tell there's like Cap's and all that. Cap kind of wakes up. At this point, the like Nazi guys or whatever, they're like kind of pseudo Nazis because it was like in the 60s or whatever, but they start fighting.
Dude, those are fantastic. Have you ever thought about like putting them together in some sort of display or anything like that, or you just like them loose like that?
Well, I've had them. I haven't had them in like one frame, although that would be cool. I just hadn't like I know that would be very expensive and a pain to hang up.
Yeah.
So I haven't looked into it, but I probably someday I'll do that because I had them like individually framed up, and it doesn't. I think if they were all like right next to each other, it'd be a lot better. This is a really cool one of Namor holding up that tank.
Oh damn.
Do that, but and Cap is like slowly coming out of the ice. He's like waking up. There's Cap ripping out of the ice there, and then the last one.
So this is what, 6 pages?
What are we at now? Let's see. 1, 2,
6 sequential
3.
pages. That was your first
Yeah.
OA. That's a way to dive in. I love it. It's like, let me get my first Golden Age book. No, let me get 6.
And then this is the last one of Cap, just kind of slowly, still kind of shaking off that
damn, that's dope.
Then he's got the shield. That is dope. And he's like, what the fuck?
Wow, partner. That's awesome.
And he's kind of got the like World War II stuff on there. That's kind of cool. And I mean, this page kind of looks a little better, I feel like, in the comic, just with the colors.
Yeah.
But still. And, you know, I wish I could find like more pages, but because I think there's a few other good ones in that book, but I haven't been able to.
All right, well, be on the lookout for Captain America number 12 pages, Jay Lee pages for you on the market, bro. That's cool, man. That's fantastic. Like,
and, you know, it's pretty cheap compared to.
Oh yeah, the modern stuff.
Like some pages
when you started.
Yeah. It would just be one page, and it would cost as much. You know.
Knights of Old is definitely a real American.
What about your
Biggie Shack quote? All right, well, dude, that's rad, dude. I love how you have the space to put them up there too right now. It's awesome. So look, you showed 6 pages for your first turn, so I gotta show at least 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show my 2, I guess, what you would call latest pickups. They're both auction wins, and I've been wanting to show one of these pages for the last like 3 episodes of Original Art Hour. I even put Thanos in the thumbnail of the last 2 episodes under my name, but I didn't get a chance to show it because the postal service is like a nightmare right now, especially coming to New York. So I won this auction for this page. It's a Jim Starlin page, my first Jim Starlin. It's a Thanos on the page, my first Thanos page. So it's Jim Starlin and Thanos, which is huge. Like that's like a grail for me. But I won the auction like mid-April, and it didn't get here until yesterday. So but anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point. This is from the Infinity Abyss series. Hold on, and it's Infinity Abyss issue number 6, page 22, and there you go.
Nice. That's awesome.
So I love the composition on this page. It's not a splash page, but it looks and has the feel of a splash page. And you got that giant Thanos head kind of like covering the whole scene that's going on.
And right Galactus.
Yeah, and then the text is still on the page. And this is a modern book. Like this came out in 2000. This came out in 2002. Infinity Abyss, Jim Starlin, Al Milgram. But yeah. There it is. I won this at auction.
Warlock.
What'd you say?
I'm glad you didn't get that weird looking Warlock.
I know, right? What a weird cover, right?
I don't know I didn't read that one, but I like Starlin stuff a lot.
Dude, I love Starlin, especially Thanos. So yeah, that's my my first Jim Starlin Thanos page that I'm pretty proud of, and it honestly didn't go for nearly as much as I thought it would go. So I thought I got a pretty nice deal on this page. But yeah, so and then the next one I'm going to show. Hold on, I got to catch up on.
What is blowing up there?
Yeah, I don't know because I haven't actually read this either. So that's why I got the comic book. You know, I just got the comic book just arrived today also. Nice. So I'm gonna read it, but yeah, dude, I love that. I don't even know what to call this kind of a page. It's definitely not a splash page, but it's like a hybrid page of some sort.
I'd say probably half splash. I'd say.
Yeah, half splash. I mean, this is the half splash, but what makes it cool is that the Thanos head is outside of these 2 panels.
Yeah.
with the
love
head
it.
outside of these two panels. It's part of this outer splash.
And that
You know what I
looks
mean?
so good framed.
I know. I got to get this into a frame. I'm too busy appreciating it like up close right now, you know, without dealing with the frame or whatever. So I gotta eventually put this in a frame and on the wall. But for now, I just like to like look at it, you know, because I just got it, you know. So that's going to be one I show, and then I'll show this also. Yeah, that's kind of what I consider it, Mike. A 2/3 splash. That's basically what it is. It's or a hybrid 2/3 splash. And then this is the other recent auction win. This one I did pop into a frame super quickly. Yo, what's up, Simon Comics? Welcome. So, so that Thanos was pretty cool. But this is my first John Byrne page, and I won this auction. Went really under the radar. It's nothing crazy. Okay. Literally, I won this at auction for less than $250, dude. So, and it's got Peter Parker, it's got Mary Jane, and it's got Byrne's signature, and he did the pencils and the inks.
Oh, that's
so
great.
ASM Volume 2, number 11, page 11. So you got you know, Peter and Mary Jane sort of in a kind of an embrace, but you know that something dramatic's about to go down, right? And then you cut to the next panel. You got 3 guns pointed at Peter Parker, which is which is really cool. That's what kind of attracted me to that page. And obviously, you got the John Byrne signature right there. Like, you know, no doubt that that's Byrne.
Yeah.
And then this whole middle panel, you got I think these are like rent-a-cops or fake cops or something, pulling Mary Jane away, and then pulling Peter Parker the other direction. And then here in the bottom panel, you see more of a zoomed out shot from Peter's perspective of Mary Jane being taken away and him uncomfortable. But yeah, dude. So there it is, man. This one totally went under the radar on an auction, and I got it for less than $250. So I'm pretty happy with that.
That's a way of you know, getting around some of the like nostalgia prices, but still getting
because it's from it's more of a modern run.
Yeah,
you know, it's from a run he's not necessarily known for. He's not known as like the ASM guy, John Byrne. You know what I mean? But that's what makes it actually possible to get for like not a price that's going to kill you. You know what I mean? Whereas if if you're going after John Byrne X-Men or forget it. You know what I mean? So anyway, so there you go. Those are my 2 first things. These are my 2 latest pickups. Really happy to have these. You got the Jim Starlin Thanos and the John Byrne, Peter Parker, Mary Jane situation. So
that is awesome.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. You know, I hope to get more Byrne pages, but that one that'll tide me over for a bit. You know. So all right, man. Back to you.
So I have like 5 more kind of groupings. Do you have that many, or should I do
I just got a bunch of stuff that I can just, I can just play off what you're doing. Okay. We'll go for as long as we need to go or until you have to bounce. We're about 28, 29 minutes in. So, okay. We got another 30 minutes at least, and then however long you want to stay after that.
So, I couldn't. Part of why I was late was I was trying to find a couple. I have a few more sketches I got at cons.
Okay.
But I was only able to find one. So
that's fine. Let's see it.
And then this was from, I believe, 1990 San Diego Comic-Con. And wow. It's funny because I was waiting around for this guy. And I saw him the year before, and he was definitely not as popular the year before. He was big, but not as big. And he got even bigger after this. But he was super nice both times. And I met him a couple times after this too. And he always, like, it's just kind of weird how nice some people are, no matter what. But he's definitely
you had him mentally pictured in your mind as a not nice person. And
well, over the years, I've
I don't
actually
know who we're
been
talking about at
hesitant.
all yet, which is what makes this great.
I've been hesitant over the years to like meet some people just because I've had a couple encounters with kind of famous or people I've idolized, you know, in some way. And when they're not so good, it kind of ruins everything. And like, so if I have a lot of fond memories and I've come this far without meeting the person, sometimes I'm like, let's just
I know what you mean. I know what you
keep
mean,
it.
dude. Yeah.
But what was funny, and bringing back to the original art thing, is I was waiting for this guy, and he was around some other people, and when he was not there, and then he finally pulled up, and he had this big portfolio with him, and he was all giddy, and like he was showing the other guys behind the table what he got, and he had just gotten an awesome Jack Kirby, like old, and I want to say Thor, but I don't know it. But from what I remember, it was like a Thor page.
A published page? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he had, you know, I didn't even know anything about like original art, like that you could buy it, and I don't think I ever spent more than like 20 or 30 bucks on a comic at that point.
Yeah.
But he ended up giving me a sketch, and it was Jim Lee.
Damn, nice.
And Punisher was one of my favorites around that time. And yeah, it was totally free.
I've never seen a sketch like that from Jim Lee. That's interesting, dude. That's like a moment at a time, dude.
And wow. He thought it was a little funny because I was like, can you draw him like smiling with like, I don't know, maybe like there's blood on a wall or something.
Yeah.
And he thought that was pretty funny. And yeah, like I don't think he's had to do that before. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty easy for him. And I thought it was interesting when he draws, because I kind of hung around, and he would do this thing where he would draw it, right?
Dude, I thought of Metal Gear Solid also, dude. When
yeah,
I saw that.
It reminds me of that totally.
That's
and
what they called it. I was thinking it.
And Clint Eastwood. But he would draw, and then he'd hold it up to the light like this, backwards. And that was a way, and then he'd keep drawing more. And I thought that was interesting. Like it was a way for him to kind of get a further perspective,
like a different perspective, yeah.
If you like got everything kind of in line, but I've never seen anyone do that before. I thought that was interesting. Cool.
Yeah, so I met Jim Lee also this past February in Chicago at C2E2.
Oh, but wait, one last thing. It was also funny because he had just kind of went on to X-Men like full time. Like Uncanny X-Men.
Oh yeah, and, like the '90s X-Men, yeah.
And everyone was like going crazy. Like it wasn't the X-Men 1 yet, but
he was like a rock star.
Yeah, he was just getting huge. Yeah, it was like one more year, and you had to be in a massive line. But
well, I had to wait until 2020 to get to. Well, I think I bumped into him at another signing, but I didn't really get to actually like talk to him, you know. But this past Chicago, I got to at least talk, like say a few words to him and whatnot. So that was cool. But it must have been completely different in the '90s back then.
So he just went on X-Men, and I didn't know anything about it, but I found out later on by reading some stuff that the X-Men was his dream. Like that's him, like, you know, playing as the, you know, star whatever team guy. But I was like, so are you gonna come back to the Punisher, like, you know, when you're done with X-Men? And he was like, probably not. I thought that was really funny. And anyway, cool. Yeah, you go.
All right, my turn. This will be a quick turn. This will be a quick turn.
Nice when you met him?
What's up?
Was he nice when you met him?
He was nice. It's just that he had a lot of books to sign. You know what I mean? And they were they were just shifting people, like, you know, kind of in and out through that signing. So you could tell that he kind of wanted to say, you know, to engage a little bit, but it's almost like he wasn't even being allowed to.
Mm,
In a way, like I don't want to say that necessarily, but my interaction with him was about 30 seconds. You know what I mean? It was like a quick, hey, you know, big fan of your work. Like because I brought him a book that not a lot of people would bring him to sign. So we had a quick conversation about that. It was like an Image swimsuit special, like that he did a cover of. Like, it was like a very random book, you know. So we had a quick conversation about that, and then he signed the book, not where I told him to. Like I literally said, "Can you sign it over here?" And then he signed it somewhere else on the book. So I was like, "Well, that's great." In my head, I wasn't gonna yell out loud, "No!" Like you messed it up, you know. I still am gonna treasure that book whenever the hell it comes back from CGC. It still hasn't come back. So,
but you know what? You got to give him a break. Because I think at this point, he's had all his kids, and he has 9 kids.
I know, dude. And he's doing that whole freaking sketch a day for whatever 60 days thing right now that to help comic shops, and those auctions like every single day are going for like just crazy amounts, but it's all going to a good cause. So it's just a really good thing that he's doing, and I think he inspired almost the entire rest of the comic artist community to do similar things. So I feel like right now, Jim Lee's like one of the heroes out there for sure.
That's cool.
You know?
That's cool.
So, all right. So I'm going to do this quick turn. So my Knights of Old in the back has got all 6 pages he got for his first published original art acquisition. I'm going to show you what my first page was, and I've shown this page. I've shown this page before several times, I think. But this is the Sean Chen page from Elektra
awesome.
book. So this is the Elektra book that it came from. So Mike Mayhew did this cover. I'd love to have this cover,
Yeah.
you know. But it's this Elektra issue number 28 from volume 2 for Elektra. But you see Chen right there listed as the penciler artist. But yeah, this is the splash page where in the page prior to this, Elektra is throwing this guy out the window. And this is him actually falling and whatnot out the window. A lot of detail.
Yeah.
And what's really, really cool is the pencil prelim is on the back of this.
Wow.
Which I've shown before. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it? If you haven't, I will pull it out and I'll show it to you. But there's the full scope of the page.
That could easily be a cover. Easily.
I know, right? I love it, dude. I just connected with it, you know. No main characters on it or whatever, so it wasn't a high price commitment even for a splash page because you got no main characters on it, you know. But yeah, and as Kachun says, it's my splat page. It is my splat page. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I mean, I just connected with it, so I pulled the trigger. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in these OA waters. You know what I mean? So this was the first one that I pulled the trigger on. But let me
Where did
real quick
find that.
What's up?
Did you see it in person or online?
I didn't see it in person. I saw it online. Yeah.
And what made you? Have you been checking out like original art for a while?
Yeah, I've been checking out original art. I've been doing a little price researching and like website researching and everything. Comic Art Fans was kind of like the beginning of my research, and I always recommend that website to any sort of newbie collector or anybody wanting to learn more about it. But here we go. Here's the pencil prelim.
Oh wow,
on the back.
that's cool.
So yeah, almost takes up the whole back of the page right there.
Interesting that he would do it. Oh, flip it again?
Yeah, so it's the other way around.
Oh yeah, wow. Huh.
And I've heard this about Sean Chen, that he does like doing the prelim on the back of the comic board. So this is the only published Sean Chen that I have. The other Sean Chen I have is a convention sketch, a bust. Quick.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, an Elektra. So I had to get something Sean Elektra because there's no Elektra on here. But yeah,
I don't know that guy, but he's really good.
He's really good. He's highly detailed. Like he's one of the modern guys that I think doesn't get enough credit. He does a lot of indie books too, but he has obviously worked for Marvel and stuff. So
he probably put that on a light table. So he do the prelim and then put it on a light table and then use that to help.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I wish I could present this in a way that where you could see the back and the front. Like, I guess I could do a photocopy of the back or something. I don't know, whatever. You know, that would be complicated, but yeah, I do love that page, man.
That's very cool.
Thanks. All right, back to you, sir.
Okay. Well, so the past, let's see, I have one other. I don't buy very much original art because, you know, when you're buying these kind of books, you don't.
Yeah, you buy some crazy ass books. let's just be real about it. Your Golden Age book collection is what I like to call next level. If you caught my show with Man Cave, you know what that's about. But yeah, you're a next level Timely Marvel Golden Age collector, 100 on that. So.
Well, you know, I always, from a really young age, I started to realize, like, hey, you know, I want this one thing, but it's super expensive, or like it's their prized toy or whatever, but they don't want to trade me anything. But then I was like thinking, like, wow, I would give like everything, all my toys for that. And then sometimes you can actually do that. Like, you know, if you sold all your little things and then tallied all that up, it can be a massive thing. And, you know,
yes, it can.
Often like you'll love each little thing, but then, you know, in that instant when you're like, well, would I trade it all for just that? Sure. You know, and so I just kind of done that like my whole life with, like, you know, material objects, and that, you know, I barely ever regretted it.
Yeah, man, I've been similar, I guess, you know, like in the past several years, I've sold off a significant chunk of my Silver Age and Bronze Age collection, and as you know, I've experimented quite a bit with Golden Age, you know, DC superhero stuff, original art, obviously. So I've kind of evolved my collecting and also utilized my collection as a, you know, I don't know, an exchange, like a currency exchange, I guess, if you will, to put it into other collectibles. So
absolutely,
I'm totally with you on that, dude.
And so, you know, I've been super into the Golden Age, and I love like old timely guys and World War II stuff. And last year there was, and I don't really buy new comics, but somehow I heard of it, that there was a new Invaders series, and I looked into it, and then I I might have bought the first one, or maybe I read the first one in a preview or something, but I liked it because they would do flashbacks in the book. It was like modern, and Namor was going crazy, and it was actually pretty interesting. It was oh gosh, it's a pretty well-known writer. I forget him though. I think he does Daredevil or something. But
Chip Zdarsky.
Yes, he was writing it, and
great writer.
It was interesting because they had two artists on it. One would do the World War II flashbacks.
I think Brian just telegraphed which artist it is. Yes.
Yeah. But I really like the World War II stuff. And, you know, you can't really find timely Golden Age artwork. They destroyed a lot of it. Right. And like Everett.
And if you could find it, you can't afford it.
Right. And Everett did a lot. I mean, I'd love to get a Bill Everett page of Submariner fame, but his family is well off. So I think they just had no reason to, you know, anything that they keep, they just have no reason to sell it, you know.
Sure.
You know, good for them. But I kind of don't really look for that. But every now and then I would keep my eye out. And then for what I just looked into them, and again, it was like super, you know, because I'm used to got turned off from original art, like, because from original art, you know, buying that was exactly cheap, but all at once. But and then I was buying, you know, comics and whatnot. But then you know, I'd see comic art, and it was like going for crazy, you know, like anything that I liked, it seemed like it was at least 1,000,
Right.
way more, and then or just not
Published
available.
with like recognizable, bigger names
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
And I got kind of sketched out because like I could understand. I think some of those are worth that much,
So
especially
do
if it's
I.
something worth it to you, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't feel as good about it as far as like, hey, if I need to sell this,
Right.
I might not, because you're banking on
Yeah.
like on
And
some of the
what I keep telling people is that if it's not for PC, like if it's literally like you don't have strong enough passion for it that it's worth $0 the day after that you acquire it, then maybe just think twice or just be careful, like, or definitely don't chase it out of your price range or whatever, because it's not the same thing like with like graded comic books with a census and sales, price trajectory and history and market trends. It's a different market. It's a buyer's market, and it's you really have to love it if you want to, if you're going to consider spending significant money on it. Consider it a piece of art, not an investment necessarily. Like, it might end up being an investment. Like, you may end up making twice or three times your money, 10, 15 years down the road. Certainly, who knows? But don't bank on it being that. Do it for the love of the art if you are passionate about it. And then the other part of it is kind of bonus if it ends up happening or whatever. That's kind of my viewpoint on it. Even though I'm fairly new, like I'm only like 3 years in or whatever, but that's the approach I have to take with it.
So yeah, with that in mind, when I saw the prices for this guy's work, it seemed like a bargain. So I do what I learned to do is like, okay, well, I like that page a lot, but what else does this guy have? And it was like turned out to be one of his dealers or his dealer, I don't know. But I asked him like, I might be interested in this, or do you got any more and whatever. And he ended up showing me some stuff that I didn't actually see anywhere. So that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
And then, I like to buy a bunch of stuff and kind of work it out in my head so that like, I feel like I'm getting a really good deal. Like, like say there's one piece you have to have and you're going to get that no matter what.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah.
And then you see two others, then you start like, I'm thinking like, okay, I will pay the like full price of that one.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to get, and then add in a little more cash for those other ones. And then, usually we'll come to a pretty good agreement. And
yeah, it's always nice to walk away with a couple things if you can and work out a deal.
And then
I'm with you there.
And I think this guy is kind of like Jay Lee, where kind of working man kind of artist, but I was able to get some great Captain, World War II stuff. So like here's
Invaders, right? Invaders number 9.
Invaders.
Damn, that's awesome.
Cap running up on the beach, and there's like another hero. I forget.
And you said the artist was Geis?
Yeah, Butch Geis. And then it shows Cap.
Holy awesome, that's crap.
That's like awesome.
I just said holy awesome, that's crap. because my words aren't working. I meant to say holy crap, that's awesome.
And Namor flying there.
That is awesome. It's making me speechless.
Then there's Namor ripping some tanks apart.
Dude.
And
that top panel, dude. I mean, I blow up that top panel, turn it into a poster.
Yeah,
seriously.
And it looks really good on, in the comic too. Like, and like Cap's like, Namor, destroy them or something like that. And Namor's like, gladly. And so he like flies ahead. It's pretty awesome. And then
that's beautiful, dude.
Thanks. And that's from number 9. And then, I looked through his catalog of other stuff, and I found 2 other pages. And to me, it's from an earlier book. That was 9, and this is from number 6. But it almost, to me, it's like as if it continues on. In like now they're more mainland on like the same afternoon or whatever, and like this one is really cool. Cap's fighting this. I don't know what the Nazi guy is, but and
I was gonna say Captain Nazi, but that's DC.
right. And yeah, there's like some dominatrix Nazi chick.
Oh man.
And I think,
I see. So there's some more Cap down there in the bottom panels, right?
Yeah, and I think there's it's not the best Torch, but it's even got the Torch in there. Human Torch right there. It's hard to see, without the big orange. But and then the story is like someone tells Cap something, and then I think Cap's like, no, Bucky. Okay, Cap's fighting, and then Bucky runs in and is like, "They're bombing. We gotta get out of here." And then Cap's
I like that panel.
And they're like, "Where's Namor?" And cool. You can see there's the bombers coming right there.
Damn.
We gotta get out of here because they're gonna bomb.
No, every single one of those panels are cool, and that top panel just is like next level, dude. That's awesome.
And then this was the like that page. That page was worth some good amount. It has something I'll talk about in a second, but the first one actually was the most expensive one, but then this one was like super cheap because on its own, not too many people would buy it, but as a progression of the story, it was really cool to have. And this is the next page from that, and this guy's looking for Namor, we gotta go. Namor's like slugging out this dude, some like Nazi super soldier thing, and they're like,
I love the perspective on that one.
The bombs are coming, they're gonna bomb. And then it's really hard to see in the original art, but you could see Namor like flying away with the guy right before the bombs blow up the like big Nazi castle, which
man, he's rescuing a medic,
which soldier. Looks kind of like that castle in the
back. That's so cool.
And I mean, it was just great. And then so this, I remember
those were not sequential though, right? Like the other first.
These
two are okay.
Yeah, and then the number. This was page 3 and number 9, but it they're storming like the beach.
Yeah.
So dude, it kind of felt
the layouts on those pages are so cool, dude.
And then this had like I can't remember what he called it. I think maybe stat or something. But some people, he had to like point it out, the dealer, because I guess some people don't like it. But he actually I think glued another piece of paper there.
Like a photo stat?
And then redrew Cap because they wanted like a correction.
Oh, I see that, a slight difference of color. Yeah.
But I mean, if that made it cheaper, all the better. Because I don't really care about that.
That's awesome.
So that was I think that's the last published full pages that I ever bought, and that was like maybe last year, maybe.
Awesome, dude. Well, those are fantastic published pages, though. Like I like your eye, like your taste. Well, it's cool because you're going after something that's related to what you collect on the comic book side, but just in the modern market, which is not much of it out there that fits. Right. So the fact that you've been able to find some that you connect with is pretty damn cool. Simon Comics says those are some nice ones. Yeah, definitely some nice ones. Bayshek is so good per usual. Brian's take time, some great pages. He's been eyeing some Geist covers. What's up, Junior Perez in the house?
It's pretty cheap.
So yeah, dude, that's freaking cool, man. So I wanted to show these real quickly. These aren't going to count for my turn, but because you mentioned like gluing stuff and stats and whatnot like that, I wanted to show you the 2 photo stats. I'm not even going to go full screen. I want to show you 2 photo stats that I have that actually belong to Jack Kirby. These are two Commandy photo stats. So Commandy issue 20, page 11, right? So this isn't art. These are copies of his pencils. So there's page 11, and there's page 12.
Damn, that's nice.
So these are photo stats that he used that were reference copies in his, in his studio or whatever. And I got these from his nephew or whatever. But pretty cool. I mean, not art, not original art, just literally photocopies of original art.
There's some Jack Kirby Commandy. I think Ramita Man got a bunch of that in.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I do have one published Kirby page. I didn't bring that out for this episode, but I've shown it before. I think you've seen it before. It's Captain America Bronze Age page, inked by Frank Giacoya. What's up, C. White? He says, nice pieces. I'm hoping to get Zafina Waterworld pages from the original series. Hard to find. Mike the Collector, is something like that expensive? No, dude. No, there's I'll hit you up on Instagram and I'll point you. I'll have a quick chat with you about it. But no, those were not. These didn't really cost me anything. They were part of something else that was like some sort of exclusive package with like prints and stuff like that that used to also belong to Jack and everything that his nephew's selling. So it's not like a collectible really. It's just a cool little thing to have that photocopy of the OA of those Commandy pages. But the true crown jewel of my OA collection is my published Kirby page. But I feel like I've shown that way too many times, so I did not bring that out today. But what I will show is, earlier I showed my first page ever. And this is my first published cover ever that I got. Here we go.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. So this is, hold on, let me see.
That is so cool.
Let me see. Hold on. How do I get to full screen?
Love that.
So this is the cover from Jock, pencils and inks, to Azrael #3. Hold on, I got the real comic book.
I thought we were supposed to take everything out of the frames for this show.
I know. Well, I'm late. So yeah. So this is the first published comic book cover that I ever got. And Jock's one of my favorite modern artists. Azrael is one of my favorite DC characters. So this just kind of aligned in a way that I couldn't pass up, and I had to add to the collection.
So different. Like did he do the colors on that cover?
He did not do the colors.
Huh. No. It's very the colorist kind of took some liberties with that. Yeah,
for sure. For sure. And that happens, that happens. There's really no avoiding that.
I like the original better.
So Simon's asking me Jack's nephew. I think I misspoke. I think it's his grandson, not nephew, Jeremy Kirby. So, but anyway, yeah, super, super happy to have this Jock cover. This is the only Jock cover I have. I don't have too many covers. It's it's a bigger commitment, most of the time for a cover. So, modern or otherwise, So, all right, back to you, brother.
All right, so I guess this next session will be the Japanese.
The international.
I connect. Yeah, we're going international today. So I collect probably from an early age actually, because I had some Japanese neighbors as when I was in second grade or something, and I used to go downstairs. We lived in apartments, and I'd hang out with them, and they would draw. The brother was super good at drawing, and he would show me his drawings. It was interesting because his dad, I was like, this is amazing, and his kid was probably in first grade, and he was drawing. I had never seen any art like that before, and but he was kind of not too happy about it. And he told me that his dad made him draw the same head, face over and over and until hundreds of times until he could do it perfectly from memory, and then he get to move on and do.
It's a sports dad making you shoot free throw all day.
It reminded me of kids who maybe are super good at piano, but they hate doing it, or whatever. I wonder if that kid ever, I wonder what happened to them. But they had all these awesome toys, Japanese toys. I still love Japanese toys to this day. They had all the firing missiles and all this stuff that we didn't have because someone choked on one. But, they were going back and forth to Japan and having all this. The colors are amazing. And I saw some like early stuff on TV. So I, like Star Blazers and Battle of Planets and stuff like that as a kid. So, and it was like at that time when you were so young that like, you don't really understand like, why is this on? Or like, how do I see this again? Oh, I have to get up at this time, like none of that was, I just remember seeing it sometimes and sometimes not seeing it. And it was just probably based on how early I got up or came home from school or something. And
Tricky Trapster is filling us in on the Nazi cat. Master Man.
But so I always had this thing for Japanese kind of aesthetic. And then I went around that time with the Jim Lee, I think 1990, I started getting into, as much as I could, anime at the time. And
nice.
Back then you had to, like Akira's came out, that was pretty popular. But like most of it was like VHS tapes that were not subtitled or dubbed or anything. And like, you just, it was just like very different, no internet and all that, but it was pretty fun. And I kind of kept that. So I bring that up, it's kind of a weird segue, but
we don't need segues. We're good.
A little bit before that time, probably pretty close actually. My uncle was doing, I think this was a few years before, but he had the stuff at this point. And he was a voice actor among lots of other things. But he had a bunch of stuff. He's like, hey, he always was a really cool guy. And like, he gave me a bunch of stuff from this animation show that he worked on. And it was American, but they did all the animation overseas, but in that he gave me an animation cell. So this was like my first animation cell. And it was from this show. Some people love it. And a lot have never even seen it, but it's called Galaxy Rangers.
I have no awareness of what that is, but
it was in the 80s.
Learn about it.
It was kind of like a cooler version of Brave Star, which is what more people kind of heard. It's like futuristic cowboys and stuff like that. But he was a voice actor for, I think, this guy and like some like various,
side characters.
Yeah. But he gave me some really cool stuff. So he gave me some like layouts, which
nice.
It's pretty cool. It's like it's showing this guy falling, and it was all taped together, kind of like that. But it starts out like guy falling down this tower, and he's getting closer.
So is an animation cell considered like the entire series of pages for one scene, or is it like one piece of literally one frame? Like
I'll go over that. So
okay.
This is like probably what considered a layout or a storyboard. Those things came first, and they figure out like where's the action going and what are the key.
So it's like the animation version of a prelim.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
And then from there, people will go and they will do a background, and those are awesome, like really high painted detail, awesome. And then there will be a senior artist who will take these like key moments, and they're called like key cells or whatever. They're usually the expensive ones. Mm-hmm. It's like if the camera suddenly cut to like a fist or like a guy about to punch someone,
like an action thing.
That would be a key. Yeah. And then like the end of that motion, like as they come across, that would be like the another part, and the main artist would like draw those. And then
That's awesome. Gretzky said he has some from He-Man, Smurfs, and Spider-Man.
The other artist would go from there, fill in betweens. So then this is what you see, like this is one of those. It's called in Japan it's called a doga, something like that. It's called in America they call them like cleanups.
Okay.
And then
is that another in between step in the process?
Yeah, that's kind of the reference that the animators will get for a cell.
Sup, Jimmy?
No.
So that's a real, true animation cell right there.
And it's paint. So this side is just straight paint, nothing
that's
on
cool.
it. But on the other side is, some gloppy paint. And a lot of these you have to be careful. You have to keep them separated because this paint will stick on stuff. And a lot of times it'll stick on, usually most cells will have one of these cleanups behind it. But often you won't be able to buy the cleanups for some reason. I don't know why. But often this cell will be stuck to that paper, or it'll be stuck on a background, which is even worse. And then here's a background, which is really nice. The backgrounds of animations are amazing.
Whoa, that's cool.
Just really good looking, this is just a wall, but
So is that literally where placed behind the cell?
I'm not entirely sure if that is, because often you'll get, it might be. I don't know. I should find this episode somehow.
It's like Bake's got some too. He says he has a signed Skeletor. And some other ones.
But so that was my first animation cell, and since then I got a few because it's just a way to get some Japanese art, because what I'd really like is Japanese manga art.
I love manga art, dude.
It is there's hard to get any information about it, but from what I've heard, even from art dealers here, is that they just are kept. I don't even know if the artist
Trapster's got a hentai cell.
But they just aren't for sale ever, or I don't even know if they go back to the artists.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I know very little about the business of manga. I've been speaking to a few manga artists that I like on Instagram and trying to learn a little bit, but I haven't asked them those kind of questions, I guess. But I love that style, just in general, just the way that, just the different approach to faces, human figures, everything.
So then I have a couple others. My friend gave me this one. It's from a popular manga and anime called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool, often, dude.
You'll get them with the backgrounds, but you won't really know if it's supposed to be for that background or not, or there'll be forgeries maybe of the background, or there'll be color copies of backgrounds. Obviously, real backgrounds are worth a lot. And then I got these for my wife. These are really cool. So I'm not entirely sure. So this is, these are key. So this might be, there's a rare piece, a rare part called the Genga, which is the real rough. Mm-hmm. It's better than a one of these, but it's not as tight as the Duga, which is
right in between. Yeah.
And they're pretty rare, and they're rough. But I have these I bought for my wife, so some Sailor Moon. And they look more like the.
Would you say a Sailor Moon?
Yeah, the Gengas look more like just regular pencils. You know, they're the closest you can get to like a manga-ish pencil drawing,
cool.
pretty much.
That's cool.
And if you can actually get a Genga, they're pretty rare. Like these are more common, the Dugas, and sometimes they're cheaper than the cells. This is another one where you could really see the difference. So this is the Duga, the cleanup, and then I really like this one. This is like this is the rare Genga, and they often just aren't for sale or hard to find. You know, there's only one for each key moment, and you could tell like that's a real seasoned artist. You know, that guy could work in manga easily. So
Yeah,
that was really cool. And then going back to the childhood story thing, this was one of my favorite. I don't have much cells. You know, it's kind of risky. I feel like to get real good ones, like Akira or like, you know, Ghibli or whatever that big one, you know, like very
Dragon Ball, Goku stuff.
It's and like there's a lot of forgeries, so you have to like buy from a really reputable dealer and blah blah blah. It may be great if they had like a CGC kind of thing.
Yeah.
But one kind of sad thing is like around year 2000, they went almost completely digital, so you can't even get this stuff anymore. But here's
just like pencils are rare these days as far as published art.
Yeah. My childhood, one of the first Japanese was the Battle of the Planets, so it's really cool to get one of these new Battle of Planets guys. G-Force, they call it, or in Japan, it's
I recognize that one. Nice.
Yeah, very cool, and it's got a bunch of other goodies in the inside, but I haven't cracked it out in a while. But yeah, it's anime, and
dude, that's cool.
And then
this
one last thing to bring it in relation to the Jim Lee thing is through my work I was able to meet one of my all-time favorite creators, and he drew a little sketch on a book that had some of his artwork on there, and he's from Japan, is the creator of Mega Man.
Oh, dude.
And he drew me that little sketch, you know, a very like the Khan's sketch, you know, from JoJo or from Jim Lee.
Hell yeah, dude.
So that's like definitely one of my prized possessions.
That's cool. Is that a Capcom book? That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go as quick as possible here because we're already been like an hour and 13 minutes. So I'm just gonna do lightning round. But this is the only animation related thing that I have.
Awesome.
And it was given to me by Bake, the snake who's hanging out in the chat, who's loving your Mega Man. And he's also referencing Bambox, which I think is where this came from. But if you see this, it says there's a COA here, and it says this certificate is to authenticate this original hand-drawn production animation drawing was from the animated series Ewoks, and this is a one-of-a-kind blah, 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 that was used in the production of the cartoon. Cool. There are no two alike in the world. So that's really cool, man, because, you know, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I can't say I've watched a ton of the Ewok cartoon.
Yeah, me neither.
If I'm completely honest, but this, you know, having this in the PC kind of makes me more curious to go back and try and check some of those out. Yeah. I don't know if any of these numbers down here reference any, because I don't know any. You know a lot more about it than me.
They all mean something, but you kind of gotta do a lot of research.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start, honestly. But yeah, Ewoks did have an animated show, dude. But yeah, like so there's I think is that a date or an episode number?
Probably numbers of the episode. Something related to the episode and the sequence.
Yeah, I don't know. But it is cool, man. So I do like having like one animation related piece of OA in my collection. So shout out to Bake because that was cool. It was part of a AOK package that he put together for me. So All right, back to you, dude. I think
All right.
what's your next theme? I know you came at me with a syllabus for this show, so I'm
Right.
what's your next concept?
Man, sorry, I'm like sweating my ass off.
Oh, no worries, dude. So am I.
This
Just can't
is
see
my
it.
like work from home little tiny man cave, but
Yeah.
I got all these computers in here now, and it's like insanely hot, and it's not even summer. It's not gonna be
I know,
good.
dude. It's just May 5th, man.
But all right, so we'll continue on with the international. I went to Europe in the mid 2000s, early-ish, and they like comics there.
Yeah.
I went to a bunch of comic shops. They call them BDs, which I don't even know what that's for. BD. It's like
BD.
I really don't even know what the hell that it means. I did pick up. Here's one that you guys might recognize. It's kind of cool. It's in French, which I don't really speak, just a little bit, but it is cool to see it in a different format. So this is another. I'd love to have some of his original art. Travis Charest.
Okay.
This was the Wildcats X-Men. You've probably, it's a favorite of mine because World War II.
Yep.
And it's Wolverine and all that. But it's bigger pages, and all their books are like this. It's hardcover.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's just a wild format. It's pretty neat. But one thing that was pretty funny was when I came back from the airport, I was going back to the US, and I had so many of these things in my backpack. It was like killing me. And then I set off like some, I don't know, warning thing because of the weight. And they were like, "What do you got in there?" And it's like, "Oh God, yeah, it's really heavy." Like all these comic books, and they're like, "What?" And like they took all my shit apart, and it was like, "Wow, yeah." It's like this dude's carrying like a ton of. It was before you had to pay for the weight.
Yeah.
But God, bringing back those was pain. But while I was there, I went. I was in Paris, and there was like I was researching comic shops and whatever because I wanted to find something I don't know, interesting that was more up my alley. And there was a comic art like gallery, which I thought was really cool. And I went in there, and they had just portfolios, like big size portfolios out on tape, and they had like whatever their monthly show was. It was a pretty small place, but tons of these portfolios, like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 8 big tables like at a con, and then like 2 or 3 big portfolios on each. And because they paint, almost all their books are painted, and it was amazing. Like it was really beautiful. And I ended up getting, I didn't really know this artist, but I liked his stuff that I saw in those, and I was like, whatever, I'm in France, I'll buy one of these things.
When in France, get a painting right now, dude.
And the whole, it was interesting how a lot of them would do a painting and then piece it as a panel, and then they would piece it together in the book. I guess it's common there. And so this is the one I picked out, and it was really cool to buy and this was a published piece.
Do you know what the name of the French book is?
Yeah, I'll show you. But it's really, really cool. And they had like amazing like Mobius stuff, and
dude, the Mobius stuff is so good.
It was very pricey, and but it's painted. Like you just get that chance, at least back then. And
one day I would love a painted Alex Ross interior published page. I mean, I would love one day. But.
So they told me the book that it was from, and the artist, his name is Ledois, I think. His name Ledois, right here.
Yeah, and, Ledois. Yeah.
And Mills is I think an English writer. I think he did like stuff for, I think, 2000 AD and whatnot. And then this book actually is they have it in English. It was in a heavy metal because heavy metal would often reprint and translate a lot of European stuff. And this was Requiem, which is the book that it was from. And I'll show you. There it is, page 2.
Wow.
So that's it. And yeah, quite.
That's
big.
interesting. That so they painted out separately each panel and then combined it for the published.
So if you like, and I remember seeing a couple of these other ones, and I remember almost wanting this one here, but the euro to dollar conversion was not in my favor.
Right, dude, that's super cool, man.
But yeah, that's pretty neat. But like, imagine you'd have to piece together all these panels to get a page.
Dude, that's a lot of work. Is that still how they do it today in French comics?
Well, that's the thing. Even then, which was like early-ish to mid 2000s, they were pretty like somber about how all digital, like most people are going digital, and just kind of ends all this. But,
well, I hope not, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right. So you showed a painting. I brought out a painting because I knew we were going to do one round of painted works. I'm following the plan. I'm following the syllabus for Knights of Old. This is my painting that I brought out for tonight. Frank Brunner.
That's amazing.
Frank Brunner, published
acrylic,
published hardcover to Roy Thomas Presents The Heap, Volume 2.
That is so cool.
So if you're not familiar with The Heap, it's a Golden Age character, like Airfighter, Airboy comics, in the 40s. And this is a hardcover volume reprint series. So there was Volume 1, this is Volume 2, and they made a Volume 3 and the Roy Thomas Presents stuff. And as you can see here, they swapped out the Heap, they swapped out the original art cover here digitally on the published book, but over here in the original, he's reading Man-Thing. So the Heap is like was the original character like this that Swamp Thing and Man-Thing sort of originated from. And I'm a big Swamp Thing guy, more of a Swamp Thing guy than a Man-Thing guy, but I just love the history of this character. And this particular painting is just so ironic and beautiful to me. And I'm a big Frank Brunner fan in general of his work. So it's like he kind of looks like a Muppet.
It looks like the Man-Thing too. I mean, I would say it's the Man-Thing of first hand, off, top of head.
I know, right? Well, it's it's the inspiration.
That's so cool.
For the Heap. So obviously this wasn't painted in the Golden Age or anything. Frank Brunner did this painting in 2012 when the which is around when the series I'm not a big Man-Thing guy. I'll say it again for you, Bob, twice. Now you have the audio. Do whatever you want with it. It's all good. Anyway, I'm gonna regret saying that because he always does stuff with the audio later. We know that, but yeah, that's my painting. So I got a couple other paintings, like nothing crazy. Paintings are. I think I got like 4 paintings total, 3, 4, something like that. Rarely do you get like but that's my only published one. I think published painting. So.
I really want a Simon Bisley Batman painted.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
I had the chance to buy a sketch that was painted. It was like kind of a preliminary thing he did for the Batman Judge Dredd, but it was pretty pricey just for that. And it wasn't like published. So I was like, nah, but I kind of wish I bought that. So
definitely a great schnoz.
I want an Alex Ross.
Yeah, dude, we both want an Alex Ross. Come on. This I actually did bring out. I didn't really do a whole round on it, but this is my only Alex Ross. I'll show you real quick. It's a prelim, so it's a three attempts at a character called Ghost. This was a series for Dark Horse Comics, but this one is extremely detailed pencil work in the face right there.
Yeah,
right. Totally signature Alex Ross detail, and he signed it. right there. So that is a prelim to. I think I have the book out. So this is what his cover ultimately looked like for this book. So pretty different, but this is the prelim. And yeah, it'd be awesome to have the real published cover or a real, a fully fleshed Alex Ross published painting or cover, or just painting in general would be great. Yeah. But this wasn't going to break the bank, and those are
still very cool. I like that a lot.
But I'm proud to own this little pencil.
It'll go really well with that cover when you get that cover.
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't know where that cover is or whose collection it's in, but maybe I can pair it up one day. That'd be cool. But all right, Knights of Old. Let's do your big bad boy. Do you have 2 rounds left, or you have 1?
2 left. 2 pieces.
Okay, well, do them both right now, back to back.
All right. So they're both masters. One is the one I bought first. My wife actually found this for me. Well, she alerted me to it on eBay way back. This was probably maybe a year after I bought those J. Lee pieces. Okay. So it's still relatively cheap compared to today. But it's the man Jack Kirby, and this is just Machine Man.
I didn't bring mine out. Now I feel bad that I didn't bring mine out. It's fine. I just want to appreciate yours.
It's a Machine Man, and the Machine Man isn't even in this, but I just really, it just shows the energy and all the movement and what makes Jack great. And, if you're getting some like Silver Age thing.
Yeah, Knights of Old don't play, guys. He's got to have a Kirby in his OAPC. Yeah. Just like Don Dada, we roll.
Gotta,
dude.
It's wild to have this stuff that, they touched. It's just like wild.
It's crazy, dude. Every time I go up near the wall where I have my Kirby page, and I laser my eyes like right in there, and I see the pencil work in between the inks, and I'm like, God, like every time, dude. It just does not fail to blow my mind every time I look.
Yeah, I wish he signed that thing.
Yeah, he signed my page. I'm really happy about that.
I thought this was pretty funny on the back. I noticed this today. There's like a check mark thing. You probably have this on some of your stuff, but
I have definitely have the copyright stuff or whatever, but I don't have that Xerox negative blah blah checkbox thing.
Did you get the Stan check mark? That's what's pretty funny.
No, that's super cool though to see that.
Like probably some books he had to get his approval on. Yeah. Not this one.
When was that page? When was that issue? Like as far as it stands.
Early 70s.
Early 70s. Same with mine.
When he came back to Marvel after going to DC.
Yep. Same with mine. Mine's a Captain America Bronze Age page.
And when I said I used to see comic art for cheap, because Kirby did so much art. I remember flipping through Kirby pages. I don't even know if they were like in bags.
Right.
And they were like $200, $170.
Oh, you're killing me.
And it was like all this 70s stuff. No one cared. But to me, as I was younger, $200 was a big decision.
Yeah.
So I didn't really buy anything.
Well, it's all relative to the time and circumstance and context. But yeah.
That box would be worth a lot now.
All right, I'm not even going to go this round in between. You.
All right.
Go to the next thing.
This is I've shown it recently because this is the most recent purchase.
This is your baby. Your
the other master. Baby. Yeah. So.
Not that published Kirby can't be your baby either, but this is crazy.
So we were going talking about this guy in comic art on Golden Guys, and I'm a big fan of these books here. I'll show you these those like original art, really nice big giant hardcover books.
Yeah. The artist edition.
We were talking about what we thought was the most expensive piece.
What's up, Count Von Strange?
Ever made, and I still think. Well, besides, maybe, Cap One cover or ridiculous like stuff like that, but non-superhero stuff, I still think this would be worth maybe $1 million.
Oh yeah.
This Frank Frazetta. I wish I could say this was mine, but yeah, right.
Yeah, I wish I could say that too.
All my little things that I could sell wouldn't be close.
Well, that's what's at least those art books are out there for.
Yeah, and you can always find them for a bargain, like because they're such a pain to send. I feel bad for everyone.
Yeah, mailing those things.
But I think once they sit there for a while, people are like, just get this thing out of here, and I'll submit my offers.
I saw one. I saw one I wanted at a comic shop last time I was in LA, and I was like, well, I'm not going to bring this back with me on a plane. It doesn't fit my luggage.
Right. So then I started just looking at. I was like, Frazetta, whatever, and I saw a piece on, and it was kind of a weird piece because
Is this Heritage or was this?
No, this was just, it was actually Albert Moy's shop.
Oh, okay. Albert.
I get emails from him and whatnot, and I just on his, and I've actually been looking at Al Williamson, because I like his sci-fi stuff a lot, and this was a inked piece by Frazetta, and it was, expensive, but not like as insane. So I was like, I kept talking to him about it and figuring out, what it was, because it was kind of a weird piece. So
he did the whole piece.
Well, they would work together a lot, and I think
Subboat.
Al would just, like, Frazetta was kind of the senior, so sometimes he would just, take over or whatever, and it was quite common. And I recently got the book, so that was cool. So it comes from this book,
Buster Crabbe,
and Frazetta did the cover to this, which is pretty crazy.
Awesome.
And
so we're about to see Frank Frazetta OA from that Golden Age comic book.
Published, and I've been actually this last year I've been doing some inking myself, and I've have a lot more respect for the inkers. Dude,
inkers have a hard job.
And I mean, after looking at the piece and knowing more about inking, like, and it's like, it's a lot Frazetta, but so it was weird because it was it's just a panel. So, and then it's this panel.
I recognize it. I remember you when you showed it the first time. That's
very, very
the page
small.
on the left, the bottom right panel, and the page on the left. Yep.
Very, very small.
Yep.
And they use this paper that you can put some solution on it, and it'll bring out some of the lines behind it. And what's common is sometimes you'll just want to do that for one panel, and it sounds like maybe Frazetta just wanted to experiment with that. And so he cut out, the panel and then did his work on that. And then they glue it on. Mm-hmm. And the dealer was telling me that they got this from the Frazetta when they were Frazetta's family. While Frank was still alive, they were cleaning out, just going through stuff in the flat files, and they found this panel. So Al must have given it back to him or something. And so here it is. But
that's so cool.
It was really amazing to get. I just never thought I would have anything, let alone like I love like sci-fi kind of spacemen with the bubbles on their heads and published.
That's so incredible.
Amazing to get something like that, and like that he touched and all this. I'm kind of
no, I know what you mean, man.
I get weird about it,
man.
But it's amazing the detail. And then, when I got this comic recently, it was just like, what? Like, God, all the work that went into that.
I know.
Barely.
Like every panel was like a freaking work of art.
Barely shows.
And a huge process. That's awesome.
So yeah, that's.
Are you gonna try to display that somehow, or just kind of keep it around?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do it. I think it would be neat to have
it's an unconventional shape,
and I'm not sure if I want to do like, this with that, the cover, or like show the page itself isn't exactly
Yeah,
too.
Brian is right. Super jackpot Frazetta published is insane. Congrats, and thank you for sharing it with us, dude. Yeah, thank you for sharing it with us. That's crazy.
Well, yeah.
I'm speechless. That's amazing, dude. I mean, I hope you have a few minutes backstage to hang out. I got a story to tell you.
Absolutely.
An off-air one about Frazetta.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, and this is one interesting thing is he had recently had a stroke, and so at that point, and he recovered, I think, from that stroke. I'm not sure which number. He had a number of them, but you get kind of your mobility is messed up. But at this point, you could only do, and he signed this F.
Wow.
But that's like all he could do at that time. I think he got a little bit better to sign again at a later date, like a year after maybe. But then he kept getting more strokes and passed away. But
yeah,
pretty wild. It's very cool.
Wow. Okay. That was an hour and a half of art high right there. I feel like I gotta come down from this trip. Damn. Well, dude, Knights, I really appreciate you coming on to this show and sharing your art collection with us in the community. It's a blast, dude, and I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you down the line. Because I love your collection, both comic books and the art. It's super cool stuff.
Likewise.
I'm gonna skip the whole what you got coming up thing because we went overtime here. We're 90 plus minutes in. But if you want to plug something real quick, go for it. I know you got Golden Guys every week. Are you on Golden Guys tonight?
Yeah, we got Golden Guys coming up at 7. And then
all right, so I can't keep you too long. You got a show to do 20 minutes.
I did recently some like my own classic covers. I picked 10 from every 5 years from 1960 to 19. I know.
I watched every single one of those.
And that was really fun and kind of torture in some ways to pick.
Sure it was. I can't bring myself to pick definitive things like that. It's too hard for me. I can't even. That's difficult. But I applaud you, and those videos were good. So
cool,
definitely very educational. So definitely go over and check out Knights and Golden Guys every week. Check out his channel. Sub him up. The link to his channel is in the description below here of this video. Next Tuesday night, 9:00 Eastern, the next episode of Original Art Hour is with George at D Runk Comics, a newer art collector in the game, but he's got enough pieces. He's got enough pieces now to come on, so we're going to have him on next Tuesday. The week after that, we're going to have Bub's Comics.
Awesome.
So that'll be fun. And then the week after that, we're going to have Stray Flexen over on Instagram, who has some amazing stuff, including original Schomburg art, original Kirby art. Like he's got original Alex Ross potentially, I think he has. So that's going to be a mind-blowing episode. So we got 3 awesome episodes coming up. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you guys hanging out in the chat.
Man. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, though? I mean, seriously, like, because you can't just show the same things. But, like, weekly, then you're going to have to just keep buying a new thing every week.
Yeah, well, like, there's no rules. There's no rules that I can't take a break on this show. You know what I mean? Like, after a certain point. That may happen, but I'm fine with re-showing stuff. Like, I'm proud of the art that I got, you know what I mean? I don't need to necessarily constantly be buying more just to do episodes. I think that would be an unhealthy position to take because obviously I'm not getting any money back from doing this show. I'm just doing it so that we could share this beautiful art with everybody, and I feel strongly about that. But I don't necessarily think I don't think I should be worried by running out of art or whatever. I'm cool. I'm cool with re-showing stuff.
Well, when you get richer, I look forward to when you have a new piece every week that's better than the last week's.
Oh well, those are goals we can try. And thanks, Biggie. He says Don Dot is doing fantastic. We'll see. We'll see what happens, brother. What's up, Joey Bag of Sevens? All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been Original Art Hour. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm a few subs away from 800 subs, so I appreciate all the community love as of late. And come back next week for Original Art Hour with You Comics. Have a good night, guys.
See ya.